Are you tired of not understanding things? What is an NFT? Are you frustrated that no matter how hard you work, it seems that you can't be successful? Do you sometimes feel sad? Are you constantly disappointed in your ability to spray paint something well?
Well, then have I got a tool for you! So today, I'm going to be talking about this sweet piece of gear right here. This sweet piece of gear right here. What is this called again? The powder coater. I'm going to be talking to you about safety, how this works, and of course, what it does, which as of now is a complete mystery. To me even. How does anything work? How does the Earth just keep spinning? Would it not slow down eventually? Powder coating is able to be applied easily to any component or part that can conduct electricity, meaning that it can complete an electrical circuit from one side to another. For example, there's continuity between those 2 points, meaning that it is able to conduct electricity. And I say easily because you can, in fact, powder coat things that are not electrically conductive, like glass or ceramic, but I'm not going to get into that in this video. A quick visual demonstration as to how this electrical circuit works. We've got a machine here that provides power.
It's about power.
So you can see we've got a cable that comes off of it and runs to the gun. The powder coating gun will then electrify the air in front of it. So then the electricity runs to our part, which is grounded, back to the machine. So therefore we have our complete electrical circuit from start to finish. So as that electrical circuit is being completed, when we pull the trigger, the powder shoots out of the front of the gun and is electrostatically charged as it moves through the air and will bind to our part. A good way to think about this process is, you know when you have a balloon and you rub it on your hair back when you had hair and it sticks to your head?
Rub a balloon on your hair.
That's essentially what is happening to the powder coat when it is applied to our part. This obviously helps with the process of coating the entirety of the part, because where paint will just shoot straight out of a spray paint can, it might not get into all those little nooks and crannies, and so powder coating is much more effective at covering an entire surface. The other parameter that we have for powder coating is whether or not the component can withstand heat, because the powder coat is required to be baked on at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. So if the part that we are powder coating cannot withstand that heat, we cannot powder coat it. There are many benefits to powder coating over regular spray painting, some of them being the fact that powder coating is a lot less harmful to the environment.
Gonna take pollution down to zero.
And that the final coating is actually a lot more flexible and durable than that of regular spray paint. Rather than chipping and flaking off, powder coat will simply dimple or dent. So hopefully that process makes a little bit more sense. Now I'm going to show you how we can put it into practice.
But we talking about practice.
The first step towards powder coating is going to be prepping your workpiece, and the better job you do preparing it, the better the finish will be. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a wire wheel to this rim and clean off any of this old paint or debris that's been left on it. It's important to note as well that anything that might not withstand the heat of the oven should be removed. For example, this rubber valve stem should be removed from the rim. So now that I've removed most of the clear coat from the surface, I can move on to the next stage, which would be using some form of degreaser to remove any dirt or impurities like oil from my hands that may have made its way onto the surface of the metal. If there's anything on the material, the powder will not effectively bind to the surface. Because I'm only going to be powder coating the face of the rim, I'm not too concerned about prepping the rest of it. Just FYI. So now that my workpiece is all prepped and ready to go, I'm gonna come over here and start the oven.
Why is the oven not on? Not sure, Chef, I'm sorry. You're not sure?
So we wanna set it to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Make sure it is set up properly. And now we can go set up our part and our machine. So as far as the setup of this machine goes, there are a few things that we need to start this process. We need power, compressed air, powder, a foundation that we can put our workpiece on, and of course, safety equipment.
Safety first.
So to avoid the chance of dust inhalation and overspray onto other vehicles and things, we will do this outside, but we will of course still be taking safety precautions. We will be wearing safety glasses. We will also be wearing dust masks so we won't be breathing in any of the powder. We'll have some welding gloves ready to avoid burning ourselves when we transport our parts to the oven. It is also important to think about how you have your part set up so that when you do go to transport it to the oven, you don't accidentally rub off any of the powder coat from your part. So set it up in a way that it is easy and convenient to move to the oven. We can plug in the machine.
Nice.
We can install our powder into the canister, making sure that this plastic straw is embedded into the powder.
Nice.
I need to hook up the ground clamp somewhere. Because we have a metal base, I could attach it somewhere to this metal base, but because I'm not too concerned about painting the side of the rim, I can actually attach my ground cable directly to the rim. I just wouldn't want to attach it to any of these surfaces because that is where I'm powder coating. Lastly, we can hook up the compressed air to the machine.
Nice.
So once we've got everything hooked up, we can turn the machine on.
Nice on.
The settings should already be set correctly, and we can powder coat to our heart's content. One thing that you will also want to do before you start coating with a new powder is you want to purge the system. So you want to blow out any residual powder that might still be in the gun. And then you can commence coating. One of the many advantages of powder coating over traditional spray painting is the fact that, let's say I didn't like how the color looked on this component, or maybe I didn't get good coverage, or maybe, oops.
Oh, come on, man.
I accidentally took some of the powder coat off. All we need to do is simply clean off the existing powder coat, and we can reassess and potentially reapply. And just like that, I've got a clean slate to work with. So now that I've decided I am in fact happy with this setup, I'm going to apply the final coating and then send it over to the oven for baking. So I'm pretty happy with that coating. Now all I have to do is remove the ground cable and then make sure that I transport it safely to the oven without marking up this surface, hopefully. Once you have your piece safely secured within the oven at 400 degrees, you can leave it for about 15 to 20 minutes or whatever the manufacturer specification says for that specific powder coat. In this case, I'm gonna leave this one for about 20 minutes, so I will see you in a bit. Make sure you turn off that oven. At this point, your piece is going to be very hot, so put it somewhere where it's not going to be a danger to yourself or anybody else, and give it time to cure. I'm relatively happy with this result. There is a little bit of what is called orange peeling. That's that texturing you see, and that's from the surface potentially not being prepped as well as it could have been, but it's not too bad. A way to avoid this is to simply prep the surface better, or what you can do is you can preheat the component before you apply the powder coat, and it will burn out potentially any impurities or anything else that might conflict with the installation of the powder coat. So hopefully this process makes at least a little bit more sense. And maybe for once in your life, you could do something right. Once in your life.
Show me.